This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, Reds fans, and welcome to another installment of the Locked On Reds POSTCAST show, brought to you by the wonderful people at the Locked On Podcast Network. My name is Tim Daniel. I have been covering the Cincinnati Reds in podcast form for 5 years at publications such as Late Night Reds and the Riverfront, and obviously I'm lovely and happy to be here with you all today on the Locked On Reds POSTCAST Network. Today, we had a stinker of a game. The Cincinnati Reds take a late loss to the Baltimore Orioles today with so many missed chances to win this one. A final score of 9-5 here at Camden Yards. The Reds fall to 10-11 after a game that they left a lot on the field. So today we're going to talk about their missed chances at winning this one. Wasn't their best day. We're going to talk about Hunter Greene and his struggles today. Had his first stinker of the season. And we're going to talk about giving some love to the lefties today as TJ Friedel and Jake Fraley had some nice moments. I can't wait to see how this goes, guys. Let's see what we all are talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Well, today was a stinker. The Reds had a lot of chances to win this one, and they could not take advantage. So many missed chances. Let's see. There's the runner thrown out the plate in the first inning. Candelaria picked off, costing the Reds a run. Matt McLean's double play was a tying run on third. An atrocious at-bat by Santiago Espinal with a tying run on third and one out. Candelaria first pitch ground out, and an Ellie strikeout garbage call as well. So really frustrating game there, especially because your offense really was, again, solid. 13 hits today, 5 runs. This was pretty, and they still managed to stay competitive up to the end. Carson Spires obviously had to pitch a lot today for the Reds, but I thought that they hung in there. They just couldn't get the job done. And then Baltimore broke it up there at the end. I know they get that last solo shot by Austin Hayes there. But they hung in. They played, as well as they probably not as well as they could have. But there are some things that they did pretty well today that I really liked. I thought Ellie's at-bat there when he got the 2 steals. It was a great at-bat to work a count there. Also, I hated everything about that strikeout because all 3 calls were terrible behind the umpire, behind the plate, but whatever. I just felt like this was the thing where they had to make this happen and they had to find a way to get these guns over, and they couldn't. Just bad at bats with the game on the line. And, they have been humming pretty well with the bats of late. Like I said, just couldn't find a way to get this one done. And it was a bummer. I do think that this is kind of a nice sign, though, for the Reds. You looked at guys today like we're going to talk about Friedel and Fraley later. They had great at-bats today. They both combined got on base for a lot today, to put it nicely, looking at the box score and getting that over. But also just not able to get that big hit that they really needed to break them open. And then, Spires gets tired out, and he finds a way to get that. The Orioles find a way to get that necessary hit. So it was just a bump in the road game. Pierce is right there, bump in the road for Greene. This is going to be, I think we're going to have a lot of conversations about that. But, this was frustrating and it was disappointing because I thought the Reds had many chances to win this one, and they kept finding a way to fall apart. So I digress. The good news is that they didn't get, like I said, Carson Spires basically saved the bullpen as much as he possibly could today, even though he really couldn't keep the game in check after there for a bit. I thought he looked really good towards the end. And then also we look at the fact that Baltimore used 7 relievers today. So that's a promising sign for tomorrow as well. Hopefully we have a nice Easter Sunday win, but we move on from this one. It's a bummer of a day for the Reds, especially because their offense was in tow. They were hitting the ball really well, and they couldn't find a way to get it going. Had the bases loaded multiple times today. Could not find a way to get that big hit in the game. And then, of course, like I said, multiple first pitch ground outs. Candelario had okay contact on that one, but should have probably worked a better count. But let's talk about bad Candelario at bats as part of our daily thing here now on the POSTCAST. So we digress. It's a bad day, and we move on. We're going to keep talking about the bad day after the ads here in a second because it was a ho-hum day for Hunter Greene. Not his best performance by any means. I'm not super concerned about it, but we're going to dive into it and maybe see if we can kind of diagnose what went into it all. But let's talk about that right after this. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives business flexibility by connecting them with the top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who delivered incredible results. Visit Upwork.com right now. Post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, so now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Thank you guys for taking time to hang out with me today after the world's longest baseball game at Camden Yards as the Cincinnati Reds take a tough loss to the Baltimore Orioles today. Really appreciate it hanging out with me after every single Reds game here on the Locked On feed, free behind no paywall. As of course, you can check me out after every game. And then you might be able to also check over my good friends Jeff Carr and Stephen Offenbaker on Locked On Reds Monday through Friday as they do the deep dive into each and everything going on in the world of the Cincinnati Reds. But today, like we said, we have a rough day. And we have a bad Hunter Greene game, but let's talk about where this game was truly won or lost.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
You wouldn't believe it if you didn't look it up like I did on StatHead, but Ramon Laureano is actually a Reds killer. Had no clue. So going into today, he was a Reds killer. And had 2 home runs today, but I'm going to go ahead and discuss that the first one that made it a 5-3 game was the one that smashed him. He went to this game with an .895 career OPS against the Reds. He had 2 home runs today. So I imagine that went up quite a bit. But Ramon Laureano had the 2 big hits for Baltimore today, helping it be an Orioles victory. So Hunter Greene today. I thought that there was a couple things that were just weird. So we'll start with, obviously, the glove, again, being a thing that's a conversation piece. That's way too much of a conversation piece for any major leaguer. I don't understand why we're doing this to him every game, especially in Brantley. I think Brantley hit the nail on the head talking about it. Just flat out, like, if we're in this era, we're going to let players express themselves. That's part of expressing yourself. It's part of showing who you are. It's part of showing your personality. Who cares? Obviously, Baltimore was not really bothered by the glove itself because they got some good contact on him. So there's that part as well. I just thought that, and I think Brantley put it pretty well too during the broadcast. He looked tired. He looked like he just kind of wasn't finishing his pitches. I think he just had a bad day. It's going to happen, especially to the best of them. Am I discrediting the start he's had to this year because of today? Not one bit. Am I discrediting what he's going to do the rest of the season? Not one bit. I just, sometimes you get hit. And the starting rotation's gotten hit a bit this week, other than Andrew Abbott. I talked about that yesterday during the Seattle series, how they had how the starters, all 3 games in the Mariners series, couldn't get through the 5th. And the bullpen kind of had to go through there. And then we have a thing like today where Hunter Greene just can't get it going, and it happens. It sucks. You don't want it to happen. You try to not make it that day, but today 3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs on 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and 3 home runs. So just 4 home runs given up on the year. And oh man, that just inflated his ERA so much to only 2.35. So let's calm down before we go ahead and just write him off for the year. It just wasn't his day. And let's go ahead and get to it, guys. Here is today's player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Terry Lee, TJ Friedl today with another huge game. in the leadoff spot. 4 for 4, 2 runs batted in, a walk. Dare we say TJ Friedel hitting over the 300 clip. That's 748 OPS. Looking pretty good. So let's give a little lefty love here to wrap up the show. Friedel today, humongous, great at bats, 5 times getting on base today. Unbelievable. Really needed. Jake Fraley, again, I know Fraley has a strikeout, but hits a huge bomb. That huge bomb. That was awesome. That, looked like it was almost like King Griffey Jr. in the home run derby-esque deep home run. So that you just had that going there. And then he also has 3 walks today. Scores 2 runs. So a huge day for Jake Fraley. And Gavin Lux with another nice day, 2 for 3, 2 walks, and an RBI on the game as well. So the lefties coming through today for the Reds in a game that they really were trying to get everything going. They tried to keep them alive. I thought that was a lot of fun to watch those guys. And like I said, this offense has been doing really well, big picture, for a while now. Obviously it sucks that at the end of the game they couldn't get that big hit they needed, but I would much rather be talking about a team like this than I would be where we were 2 weeks ago when they were losing 1-0 every day. It just wasn't meant to be today, I guess. But you look at a game like that and you see how things can go. So let's look at the comments real quick just to make sure I don't miss anything. Pierre says Fraley needs to hit higher in the order, in my honest opinion. I talked about this last night with Trevino. I am open to it, especially against righties. Especially when you're getting, if you look at today's lineup, I don't know who you would really put him over, though, if you look at like what they did today with the lineup. Lux had a really good game. Austin Hayes had 2 hits, including a home run. So there's that. Let's see. Carrie says, Reds had bases loaded twice and didn't capitalize. I mean, that was Matthew Nielsen says, Reds had bases loaded twice and didn't capitalize. Yes, that sucks. That's why you lose games like that. So that was a bummer. And then, right here. Branch, I'm not happy of this Hunter Greene out being human thing. Seriously, hope it was just a bad outing. It was just a bad outing. He's going to be just fine. And then Jose Trevino had a hell of a hit there at the end. Yeah, you're right, Adam. Just what a catch by Ramon Laureano, who I just never want to see play baseball ever again, to be honest with you. Hey, sorry to make this one a quick show, but I got to go take care of the family tonight as we're getting ready for Easter Sunday tomorrow. The Cincinnati Reds do have a tough loss today at Camden Yards, 9-5. The Baltimore Orioles winners, 9 runs, 11 hits, and an error. The Cincinnati Reds are losers, 5 runs, 13 hits, no errors. Winning pitcher today is Sir Anthony Dominguez. What a cool name, by the way. That's his second win of the year. Hunter Greene's the loser at 2-2. And Felix Bautista gets the save. So tomorrow, the Cincinnati Reds, I guess, are going to have a bullpen day since they were planning on starting Carson Spires. They'll be going against the veteran that is Charlie Morton, who is 0-4 with an 8.84 ERA this year. So depending who you throw out there, if Brent Suter can give you a couple innings and keep this game close, maybe you have a shot at a win tomorrow. So we shall see how that goes. I'm Tim Daniel. Everyone have a good one. I will see you tomorrow afternoon after the game, hopefully having a great Easter victory. We'll talk soon.